Wow. This is the point where we say, good morning, my neighbors. Good day, everyone. This is Dal Central, and I'm welcoming you to Central. You can imagine. Good everyone, this is Dal Central, the most handsome, yakable African nations, ardently pumping a physio power husband. And as usual, I have beside me my most scintillating hot baby girl.
Yeah, good day, everyone. You're most welcome to Cetra's Vlog this morning, because this is morning right here in Nigeria. So it's a pleasure having you around today. Yeah, very, very long time.
Today, we are going to be starting with what one of the best presidents in Africa uttered as an area of hope. Is it truly an area of hope? Reactions have started gathering up across the continent of Africa, with the latest release coming from Paul Kagame of which country? Rwanda. After he stated the fact that he's going to open, in short, he has already opened up the borders of Rwanda so that all Africans can have free entry and exit. Before we start putting our grammar so far, can we just listen to what this outstanding president in one of the African countries have to say? Okay.
And can get on a plane to Rwanda whenever they wish, and you will not pay a thing to enter our country. Africans are the future of global tourism as our middle class continues to grow at a fast pace in the decades to come.
It is time we in this continent realize that having visa restrictions amongst ourselves is working against us. When people cannot travel, business people cannot travel, entrepreneurs cannot travel, we all become net losers.
Okay, with what the video we've just seen now, this is coming from both Rwanda and Kenya. I want to say Kenya's President William Ruto. But I'm going to start with the pronouncement by
Okay,
Paul Kagame. Paul Kagame is not even waiting for next year. William Ruto is still waiting for next year. I wouldn't know why the romance with whatever is going on till next year. But Kagame, you all know him. He's a president that is not. He's an African president that is not always, not perturbed by whatever any Western
Doesn't
country.
care whose horse is good.
Yeah, that's my wife. I married her to speak English while I speak Yoruba. So you understand? So, but tonight we want to go deep down into all this pronouncement because I see a lot of people are happy. Oh, this is great. But do you think I'm happy that this is coming now from this African president or African rulers or African leaders? Do you think it is interesting? Let me have your view. Do you think this is the way forward?
This is what we've actually been waiting for. They had the conference, I think, on the 27th of July, 2016, if I'm not missing, and they were to implement this by 2020, that the countries in Africa can just have free trade, they can just move without visas within Africa. But that is to further strengthen the economics of these countries, whereby trade will be on the increase and the African country, not even continent now, because just like I said, the United States of Africa will be able to move forward in all that we are doing. Consider people like us that are into fashion. The other day, I had students from what's this? Is it Botswana or so? Before she could do her transactions to me, it was a tug of war. Before our currencies can be exchanged, it's a tug of war. So how do we do business within ourselves if we can't exchange our currencies? If our trade can't be free and everything? So I think it's really really interesting, but it's just like it's almost very late now, but it's better now than never.
Okay, the funniest of is that when the world is already packing their luggages and stylishly they are preparing for World War III, that's when Africa suddenly whoop, try to pretend as if, okay, no, not pretend, try to behave as if they are waking up.
The world is not preparing for what. Please don't say that.
They are cooking, whether we like it or not, whether we like
You
it or
don't have to
not,
say
they are
that
cooking.
about.
I'm saying it because it is very clear. They are cooking war across the globe. We all know this, unless we want to pretend about it. They are
You have
cooking
to read the
war.
platform.
Please, can I air my opinion? You will hear yours. So you will hear yours.
I'm just trying to help
My
you.
opinion is this, and it is factual. They are trying to spring up war from left, right, and center. There is war presently. They try to instigate Nigeria against Niger. What's it called? They've successfully instigated a particular war between Ukraine and Russia. Is still going on. They are what's it called now? Presently now there is war that has been cooked up and served to the world between Israel and some countries, because mentioning Hamas is just a better way to say a rotten potato. So instead of saying a rotten potato, you say rotopoatwa. So using Hamas is just one of those things. Now, everywhere is tensed up. And the funniest stuff is that whenever there is war anywhere, some people are benefiting. I wouldn't want to go into that because that's a topic for another day. But what we are looking at today, we are looking at Rwanda saying, you know what, all Africans, we have been so stupid all this while, allowing our colonial manswatwatwa, allowing the people that have been stealing from us, because when you call them colonial master is the rubbish, allowing the people that have been stealing from us, they were born to steal. As some of us were born to be in Africa, some people were born to steal from Africa. So these people that love to steal from Africa, they are the one that came up with the barriers, demarcations to say this is Namibia, this one is, and they gave us names that are very, very stupid. Names that are not the kind of name we African loves to bear. African names actually have meaning. But our stealers' name, our pure swift, our audacious people.
Ole, Ajibole.
Yes, the people that steal from Africa,
Just-
they have a different way of calling us. In short, they call us by most of the time they use the resources they want to steal to call us by the name. Like when they want to steal gold somewhere, they can say Gold Coast. When they want to steal ivory from somewhere, they can say Ivory Coast.
When they see the name, the
When
river,
when they see
the
the
river.
river around somewhere and they say, oh, this river has minerals, they call it Nigeria.
Yeah, and Niger.
Niger. Whereas Nigeria and Niger, they are just, you can see what so these people, they have been well trained, well served, well prepared to steal from Africa. So they were the one that brought in all these barriers, all these boundaries, all these borders. The first thing they did was to work on our mindset. They demarcated between our minds to see each other as
Each other's enemies.
And they being our frenemies.
Like the bad.
Because they are our frenemies. You know the meaning of frenemies? According to sectorial
Dictionary.
dictionary. It says frenemies are enemies pretending to be your friends. So they came up with this. I think I'm having some contributions. Alina Brand says, "Hi guys, it was supposed to be like that from the beginning, but having corrupt leaders in Africa who are puppets to the colonial masters." Exactly what we're talking about.
Alina, but you're so right.
Alina, I'm so glad you're here. If you want to join us in the studio, we can send a link to you. We want tonight's conversation to be really rich. Unless you are busy, maybe at work or whatever. So join us. Anyone can join us live because tonight is going to be hot. So, and if you can't join us live, just chat us. Oh, somebody's. Oh, look at this beautiful Bella B
Bella
703. So it says friend and enemies. Yes,
Frenemies.
that's frenemies. So these people they pretend as
Don't
if
retest it.
Stety Pret, I can cite you there. Stety Pret, nice having you here.
Jim
Jim Nwobodo.
No, Chukudi.
Chukuri.
Chukudi Nwobodo.
Nwobodo. You are welcome on board. So we are waiting for you guys. So with that being said, you can see what is going on. They demarcated between African countries, and you remember our the last time we went, our last stopover
at Mombasa,
Rwanda,
and Kigali too.
We stopped
at Kigali first.
You know,
then
we sat beside this lady that
she was Kenya.
From Rwanda.
Okay, yes.
Rwanda that she's doing
she's working at
Kenya also. You know, those are our sisters, those are our this, but for us to go to their country, you can imagine. Why am I saying country? For us to go to their house because they are our people.
United States of Africa.
For us to go to their house, we now have to take visa. Imagine that for me to come to your house now, I need to take visa to see my wife. That is insult upon sugar.
Now, Isabella Anjue. This is Isabel.
My goodness, Isabella Anjue. My goodness, whoa, you look prettiful. Prettiful.
It's not friendly me.
You look prettiful. So long time. Like wow. So you can imagine.
Isabel Anjue. So sorry.
Okay. So you can imagine this kind of stuff that Kigali, I want to say Kigame from Kigali, Kigame from Kigali of Rwanda, saying that all those nonsense are stopping. Then I begin to see the reason why we are calling this period the period of reawakening, because Africans are now beginning to remove the lid of their eyes. To say that theory in back that you should now start removing all those bottlenecks. You know, when we want to do transactions with America and UK, it is much easier than if you want to do business transactions with your fellow Africans. Ghana, the meaning of that is that Ghana that is just around the corner there, Togo that is just around the corner there, you can imagine you cannot easily transact business with each other, which is not supposed to be. They want to pay for some of our courses. They want to buy product from Nigeria. You will suffer. Does that really make sense? So for Kigame to be coming up with this, I think is a nice one. Wow. Alina Bland says, wow, I am working. Thanks, but enjoying the topic. Africa should fully awake, by the way. I'm watching from
Lusaka, Zambia. Wow.
You see what we're talking about?
Wow.
Lusaka, Zambia. The funniest stuff is that it is also very easy for foreigners to travel to Lusaka. Yeah, to travel to Nigeria, to travel to Algeria, to travel to all these African countries, than for fellow Africans to travel down there. It has to stop. I'm telling you.
It's got to stop.
Because it is a scam. It is a scampologia.
Scampoboria.
Yeah, scampoboria. You know, it is This is the world level of scam. It's a scamologist orientation that we
Just
make.
like, is it difficult for you to move within USA?
Nah, nah.
I don't know why people are just wickedness. Is Adam Smith said, man is selfish from the womb, and I think these people that we don't like, Mr. Cetro's clientele.
That's still my clientele. In case you've
So
forgotten.
yes, I know they are this set of ọ̀wọ́n la máa ń pè ní ó ń pa mí ó ń jẹ mí lẹ́sẹ̀ ó ń fatẹ́gùn sí.
What she just said
Just like
now
the rat.
is the word called frenemies.
The rat will be biting you and be blowing you hair. As in, how is it over there in your United States of America? You can move within different states and the likes. There is nothing. But when you come to Africa, you don't want us to transact businesses. You don't want us to love each other. You don't want peace. You want fighting, distortion of our economy so that you can have all what you want. But stop.
You know why they are actually putting demarcations within Africa? Because they know that you guys have so much resources, so they want to help us to manage our resources, so that when they divide us, when they divide the whole of Africa and put mushroom leaders there, Sokporonkpos. When they put the Sokporonkpos in charge of each street, because all those places they call countries, they are just streets in Africa. They are just local government in Africa that they call countries. So they will now make, like making a chimpanzee to feel like a human being by wearing him trousers. That's what the game plan. So by demarcating that, so if they want to take these resources from here, they do not have collective effort that is fighting, because number one, the strength is reduced, the population size is reduced, the military formation is also reduced, and they have the opportunity to now be mounting their whatever grammar they blow it, military base, military whatever, in your own country. So they now call, oh my goodness, they played with our memories so much. Okay, Bella says hopefully this initiative with Rwanda will be pivoted to the rest of the African countries.
Yes, really, like I think other countries have done.
4 other countries have done this before Rwanda. What's it called? We have Rwanda now. Some of the countries that have done this in Africa, some African countries that have said, you know what, we are throwing away the barriers between our fellow brothers. Rwanda is the fourth to come in. We have the Gambia, we have Benin, we have Seychelles. We have Seychelles. Now, Kenya is going to be the 5th, because Kenya is coming next year. But my question to William Ruto, thank you for, let me adjust my glass. William Ruto, in case you are seeing this video, thank you for also thinking well. But why do you have to make what you need to make decision on now? Why do you have to postpone it till next year? Please, I need you to send me a chat. I need to chat me up. The reason why you should not start it now. Because that's one of the things that is killing Africa. We continue to postpone the rubbish.
Do you know
that
since when they've had that meeting since 2016? They were to implement it in 2020.
Oh, beautiful Madam Claudia is here. Madam Claudia, please, I want our professor to come on board also tonight. I want your husband to come on board also tonight. Nice having you, Madam Claudia.
So we can go to Utopia right now.
Yes, and see what our what's it called? Our highly Reverend Haile Selassie, he must have had some contributions to a situation like this before. And Alina Plan said, my prayer is that also. Yes, your prayers will be answered, but we want the prayer to be answered fast.
Yes.
So that it's not when they have captured everything, they've stolen everything, we now become United Nation, what's it called? We now become United Africa over already stolen wealth, because presently now they are stylishly seeing how they can get all these countries in cubicles to sign off all their wealth. I hope we move faster with this to make sure that the African unity comes to place. But please let me still tell you, there is another side of the African unity. Remind me that I wanted to say something about that.
What is it?
The other side of the African unity. I will say that later. But in the frame of this contest, we need to pray for more African countries to come together. Now, my next question is this. Let me read this. I heard of this first from Wademaya. Wow, that's
Ademar is
good.
doing a very good
Wademaya,
great job.
Wademaya is doing a very great job. In case you do not know Wademaya is one of the most outstanding African blogger that he has been traveling from one country to the other in Africa. And very soon,
Rewriting the narratives of
yes,
Africa
he has
across the globe.
he has been doing a whole
been
lot.
showing that Africa is not the jungle you used to know,
Yeah.
and
And
all those fairy tale stories
That
they
they have
tell
been
you
telling people
about
about
Africa,
Africa.
that you jump from tree to tree, you don't have toothbrushes.
you know, some people can be in
Is
their
it-
country.
do you-
They can believe
do
that
you-
we Africans we
How do you?
use
What means of transportation
we
do
use
you
Maggie.
have? There's this lady that does a satire on Africa. They used to ask one.
Some people can be in
Sometimes-
their country and say that we Africans we live inside this cup. And they say, "Oh, Africans live in the cup." Yes, we live in the cup. You can see your head like cup. Some say, no. Africans, how do you communicate? No. What we do whenever we want to communicate, we just begin to, that's why you have my wife's. You can see his natural hair. I just pluck one of the hair and begin to speak incantations into it. It is what we tell the hair to hear, you will hear. Oh yeah, Africa. Yes, ma'am. Idiotic question. Do you African wear glass? No. What we wear is mushroom. This one is mushroom. So now, Stacey says, can I ask a question that's off topic? Yes, you can. How are the Fantastic Four babies doing? I think they should be around 3 years old now. Their babies have always been my wow. They are doing pretty fine.
Their last video.
We don't
have
their
it
last
so close
video
now.
is not close by here. I would have shared it.
They are
But
really doing fine.
hopefully, we look forward to giving you an update on the babies. They are doing fine. They've
three
started
now.
school now.
Yeah.
They've started school. They are about 3 years old now. So they've started school. We'll give you an update on that. Okay.
Thank you so very much for having
Stacey.
them.
You're a lovable person. Did I speak it very well? Let me speak Yoruba if Stacey will hear. Mo fẹ́ràn ẹ. Okay, now better say, don't blame them, it's ignorance. See, ignorance is not an excuse for a monkey that refused to eat banana. What I think is that some people are having what we call sepolobango. Sepolobango is a disease that makes you to behave stupid when everybody is wise. Then when they have left the region of wisdom, that's when you begin to realize you need to move. But it has got to stop. This generation of blacks, this generation of Africans that we have now, including myself and you and everyone listening to me, we are going to surprise the world because we are going to use what we call the mental warfare to reclaim back our dignity, our rights in place. Because how do you explain this? Do you know the most indebted nation of the world? The most indebted nation of the world. When you ask this, it will surprise you. So many people do not know the most indebted nation of the world. The last time this question was asked, some people were mentioning Nigeria. Where? The most indebted nation of the world is the almighty America, United States of America. They are owing in hundreds of trillions.
Are you sure?
Google this. They are owing in, as in trillions of dollars. They are owing. They are the most indebted. And the most indebted, how do you explain it? The most indebted country of the world is the one that is dictating the price for we in Africa that have the resources in our ground.
Ọlọ́run má jẹ́ kí ìyà jẹyàn.
What my wife just said is that confusion of spirit has happened. so you can imagine, how can the most indebted presently the currency in Nigeria that happens to be the giant of Africa, for every $100, what is $100? For every $1 American dollar, you have to exchange it with over 1,000 naira.
But I think it's
let them be speaking English until I see it. I don't.
Okay, let me check
all those stuff.
the exchange
Now,
the black market.
You can imagine, this is a country that has mineral resources, that has oil, that has a whole lot. What does America have? Bulletproof, gunpowder, jets, carriers, fighter jets, and the likes. And they have this fictitious paper that they wrote value on. Valueless paper. Valueless paper. They just write, we accept the dollar on the basis of what? Is it backed by anything? Nothing. It's backed by what? The fact that somebody was able to craft a value. A fictitious, is it fictitious? A fiat value.
No,
so
fiat,
now, God bless you and your family. Wow, thank you so very much. God bless you too. That, I think you're saying something. Is because they are in everybody's wahala. So you see that.
I know she meant that they have such huge debts because they tend to show up for every country's challenge. Abi, is that not what
they show up for everybody's challenge? It's a doing. Let me tell you. Let me now ask you this question: who created the wahala?
John Teriolo.
We're asking question. Who created the wahala?
Please,
it is very easy for you to be in wahala when you have created too many. so let's just leave it like that. Now, the good thing is that Rwanda, a very small country in Africa, is offering Africa the opportunity to come and see what they call development. Come, I'm opening my border. But I want to ask one intelligent question. I hope Kagame has really prepared for this, because one thing with African leaders, rulers, or what have you, or like Kagame is a leader, is an African leader in embryo, is growing into leadership. So we are still watching you with corner eye. We want to be sure that you are doing everything 100%. But I love you. In short, I can adopt you as an African leader in embryo. You are proving your words. You are giving them back to back. I'm sure by now they'll be thinking what to do with you, but it's too late. You have sailed. Now, the stuff is this. I hope Rwanda is prepared for this invitation. Wow! Somebody is in the building. New Beanie is in the building. Okay.
I'm telling you, YouTube is a lie. YouTube is a lie. Because I'm out here notification. I'm waiting for the notification. It's a windy day out here. It's cold. I'm waiting for the notification. I'm like, I'm cleaning and I'm looking at YouTube. I'm like, this is my friend's hat at Kitchen, right? Nice and warm. But something tell me, my spirit say, just touch the button. And you're on and running. I'm so mad. YouTube, they don't want the truth to come out. You can't stop Most High. The truth is going to come out. I'm outside the garden waiting. So yes, let's talk about it. So I'm gonna go off the camera. But
Uh,
yes, I am in the house. Setros Foundation. Big up to Ja. All the prayers going out. I love your green. Red goes in. Yo, I got my green. Look, I got my green.
whoa! And I was about saying that it's like it's a little bit hot there. I can see you dressing down.
Well, see, this is a problem when you live in America. I want to come home to Africa. Come back to Africa, not Jamaica. Come to Africa.
You know what?
I'm
I was
cold.
telling my
I'm
I was
cold.
telling my wife that most of the time, you people that are in America, in Canada, you are
My
living inside freezer, deep freezer, fridge.
deep freezer. Look at my lips. You know my skin. But God is so good. God is so good. We went to the International Fest in Sacramento, California, Northern California. Big up Zion from Queen of Sheba Foundation, Queen of Sheba Foundation, another Ethiopian woman. Oh man, Babylon's messed up. But let me tell you, because she usually has this event in September, like right after New Year's, Ethiopian New Year's. It's nice and warm. It's hot. We get together. She's been doing a lot of great things for our community. Beautiful Ethiopian woman. Anywho, the city pushed it back to November, knowing dang well November is rainy season over here in Northern California. Rain. If it ain't fire, it's gonna be rain. And we want rain. We don't want fire around this time. If there's fire, look, see, I look better right here. All right.
Okay.
Because I was dusting. So you know when you dust in North America, it get in your lock. So anywho, let me tell you, John's so good. It was a beautiful day yesterday. Beautiful for Africa in Northern California. Today, Cass. You see me right now? You see me right here. I'm in jacket. Yesterday, warm, hot, nice. Ja was so good to us. Ja was so good. Why? Because it was Ethiopian Day, His Majesty's Coronation Day. So yes, Uganda, open up that visa, open up, and let's talk about it. But you know what? Yeah, talk about. So let's talk about the open passport. I'm ready. I'm cold. Look at me. I'm cold. I'm ready.
You know what? We just had another person coming in, and his name is Chukudi.
Chukwudi.
You know Chukudi?
Listen, I'm gonna say something real quick. You know, California is like Africa, and it belongs to Kandase, Queen Sheba. Anyway, Califia, that whole works. We got to talk about it. But I'm in Northern Africa, aka or Northern Mexico, aka California, and Mexico, and he's down in Southern Mexico, which is a whole nother thing with the Mexica, because this belongs down south. So how's it going up there, bro? Because I'm in Africa right here, Northern Africa, right here, North Africa, and he's down in South Africa, California. Listen to the word, California. Nia is an African word. California. That's why they were able, the Moors were able to get the colonizer to know where to go all around California, because there's a connection between Africa, Northern Africa and California, and the whole mythological thing with the Queen of Califia. Before I let the Southern African talk, I'm going to say something about it. If anybody don't believe me, look up Califia and the bear and the woman that you see in Disney. That's her, but she's supposed to be an African woman with a bear, and her pet was a griffith, not a bear, but the griffith. But the black bear is a symbolism. The black grizzly bear, the black woman. Anyway, Califia, Northern California, the Africa of the West. We're cold up here. How's it going down south, bro? And then we're going to talk about the visas, because we don't have to have visas down here. Northern California and Southern California is so different. And we had just got back from Southern California on the border of Mexico. I should have come and saw you, Chakuti, but it was crazy. But we went from Southern California to Central California to Northern California. So it reminded me of like how Africa is. It really is Africa here. So let's make this happen. I'm talking. I'm just so happy because YouTube tried to lie to me. Look, bro, I was on my other phone like.
Don't mind them. They don't know. See, the whole of Africa now is opening up.
Yes.
What's it called? Kagame of Rwanda has opened up Rwanda. his younger brother, William Ruto,
of
that we are still
Kenya.
watching. We are still
Sweet,
watching.
sweet.
He is saying that they are opening their own country
31st of
on the 31st of. Whoa, that's wonderful.
this
Whoa,
is
Haile Selassie is Emperor Haile Selassie. Wow. Now, so what is it called? Seychelles has opened up their country for a free visa for African brothers and
the
sisters to come
Gambia.
in. The Gambia is opened up. These are just like 5 countries out of 54. Out of 54 countries in Africa. So before I continue with this, let's
Chukwudi.
welcome Chukwudi.
Chukwudi
Chukwudi
Wambode.
I would like to first say thank you once again to be honored to be on the show. Under the auspice of Dr. Ojo, I would like to thank him for our guidance and his presence within this foundation. He is our rock. I find him to be the most continentally thinking type of person who understands both sides of continents. Um, his role in the way he is, I mean, it's unfortunately we don't get to see a lot of them, but let's just get on to this visa issue real quick. I need to learn. Can someone teach me how visas are issued and what are the rules to get one?
Okay. Prior to now, majority of these African countries, for you to travel from any part of the African country to another, you have to pay for visa. You have to apply and pay for visa. Some will give you a heck challenges. In short, you can even be denied. That's one side. Now, this visa that we are talking of, if we want to travel out of the continent, you want to go to Canada, you want to go to US, you want to go to England, you want to go to London or whatever.
Okay, right. So something
Yeah.
that means you leave the continent.
If you are traveling to any country apart from your country, you have
To another
to another continent, you have to pay visa. Now, even within your own continent, that you are not supposed to pay, because if you look at the Schengen region, you can freely move from one European country to the other because they are seeing it as a global village. They are seeing themselves as they do not need visa to move amidst themselves. But
You know,
here in
that's
Africa,
called a racket. That's called a racket. It's been a
okay,
racket going on. Anyway, I'm sorry. I hate to.
okay.
Now I got ADD. America.
So within Africa, okay. So within Africa, you are now making me, I want to go to my brother's house, which apparently is not a country, is part of, we are all together. It's not, it's because some of these Western powers came in, they broke us into fragments so that they can be able to cheat us. You know, when a broom, the collection of broomstick is tougher to break than when it is handled in isolation. That's what they did to Africa.
Yes,
They broke
I
us into
understand.
fragments.
Yep.
Now, this visa is causing a whole lot. Is restricting our movement. Is what's it called? Is restricting
trade and
businesses.
commerce.
Is not making it accessible for us to transact. In short, demarcation between us has now made us not to even understand how fellow brothers are in their supposed imaginary countries, which is not supposed to be. So with what has just happened now, I want to believe that other African presidents will borrow clue from this and open up their borders because like Kigame of Rwanda is in I think East Africa. I'm in West Africa. By the time we open it up, Northern Africa, Western Africa, in Southern, we open the borders up. We enter, we mingle with one another. Then learn from each other. We borrow ideas because let me tell you, amidst the continent of Africa, there are some countries in Africa that are wiser than some other parts, either because we study so very much, we are more exposed,
And others
so
have their own strength.
and others have
That's
no, they have their own strength. But when I'm talking of the kind of, some countries in Africa, they have been like, especially some of these countries that were taken over by this monster called France. They so much work on their brain. They pressurize them to the extent that they begin to see themselves as slaves even in their own land. But here in Nigeria and some other African countries, we have been so wise that we know when you are fooling around with us, and we can wake you up. So by the time the continent is opened up, people from, that's even what I wanted to say. I wanted to say Kigame should better prepare, because Rwanda is just how many millions? How many millions of people are in Rwanda? This one that he has opened his border, I can tell you, if Nigerians alone should decide to visit Rwanda in one day, their economy will shake. When I mean shake, is the fact that sales demand will be sporadic, because Nigerians are heavy spenders.
Okay, can I ask a question here at this point?
Yeah.
Are you talking about because of that spending, there'll be a huge rush of a demand, and yet there'll be nothing behind it to back it up? Is that what you're trying to say? There won't
No.
be There'll be a huge rush of a demand, and yet there'll be nothing behind.
Okay,
Should
I
I
think
read?
that Madam
Okay.
Claudia's mic is echoing. Okay,
Oh, okay.
let me say this. To answer that question, please bring in more questions like this. To answer that question is the fact that I'm just advising Kigame to get ready, because
Mm.
if he's inviting Africa to come in without visa, population of Nigeria alone is, we are well over 200 million people.
Wow.
We are well over 200 million people. Now that you remove restriction, if 1/8 of Nigerians alone should decide that, oh, let me go to see
that beautiful place
that
called
beautiful place
Oh
called
Rwanda.
Rwanda.
my,
This
that's like a city moving in overnight. Could you imagine? It's like a city just moving in overnight.
Now, as an economist, let's quickly do some calculations. You can imagine if you have like 20 million people paying you a visit in 1 month. Do you know what it will translate to Uganda's economy?
Rwanda's economy,
Rwanda's economy,
their
rather.
hotels,
Their hotels, the souvenirs,
It would be a blessing. That's what
their food.
I'm
everything,
dusting.
food,
I'm
their
excited.
farm,
It would be
their
so
farmers.
cultural collaboration. You know what it reminds me of? I'm dusting here. It reminds me of the return to Zion. It would be a blessing to get some Nigerian fusion into that Rwandan economy. It would be a blessing. I mean, I see the opportunity so
Just
phenomenal
what you're
east
saying.
and
That's what.
west. I mean, we'd have to deal with some cultural racism, but the economy would be phenomenal. Now, that's interesting that you should mention that, because my concern being Haitian, and I don't mean to like interrupt, I'm really concerned. I mean, of course, I want our Kenyan brothers and sisters to come and help us out in Haiti. But is that the right brothers and sisters, or are they going to do the right thing? Are they going to treat us wrong? But that also gives an opportunity for us as Africans and Caribbeans not to be afraid of each other, but to have that communication. But being very well aware that we understand what's happening in Kenya and we ain't having it in Haiti, because don't get it confused. We are Nigerians in the Americas, Haitians. Okay, don't get it twisted. along with other little sprinklies, other people. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'll say that.
Just approximately
Okay,
15 million.
like
14
you know,
points.
like Rwanda presently have about maybe approximately 15 million people. Lagosians alone, people in Lagos alone, the population in Lagos,
A
Nigeria alone,
city.
a city in Nigeria, is more than the entire population in Rwanda.
That they,
You understand? That they call a country.
Okay, I
Now,
don't know.
oh, Madam Claudia.
somebody said they can.
Hello, Madam Claudia.
Greetings, Setcho. Good night, everyone. How you doing?
Greetings, greetings.
So nice
Nice
having
seeing
you.
everyone on board tonight. I have
Wow.
Professor here with me.
Yes, Mr. Man. Yes.
Professor, you guys kept me busy.
I
Y'all
want,
busy. That
I
was
want,
a beautiful reasoning. Let me just say that, Professor Claudia
Oh
and
my
and and, and,
goodness.
and Cetros 2 weeks ago was it was so hot I had to put it on IG. It was such a
whoa.
hot conversation. I had to re-broadcast that bad boy. Anyway, love y'all.
Okay, so
Sorry,
I,
Newmy B. Newmy B, you're gone. Sorry about the cold weather, but in the Caribbean, we're getting lots of rain. It's the rain season in the Caribbean. Oh my gosh. In the VI is wet, wet, wet. Lots of rain. Lots of rain in the Caribbean. The whole
Yeah,
whoa,
Caribbean
and let's
island is raining, it's on the water.
yeah,
Yeah,
whoa,
and
whoa.
look at Acapulco. What happened? I mean, a hurricane started from a tropical depression overnight
hmm
and hit Acapulco. And our prayers should be out there. Everybody should be thinking about Acapulco. They got
Oh
devastated,
wow.
Wow.
Wow, I
folks.
heard about
Yeah,
that.
And here's what
Wow.
I know we're changing the subject. Professor is here, but any Cetros students, future, present, international, here in the States, all everywhere, international Cetros Foundation students, engineers particularly. This is where, especially young people, this is what we have to think about in the future. Global warming, global changing, God's judgment, whatever you want to call it. You feel me? But it
Correct.
has to be the solution. So this is what I want all engineers to put their thinking caps on. When one place is flooding, see, the Most High wants us to find solutions, right? When most places are flooding and another place is fired up or don't have enough water, please let's figure out a solution, an indigenous African solution, maybe with bamboo. I mean, if they can dig underground and strip Mother Earth of oil and total do terraforma, change the whole world, Earth, for the devastation, please let's figure out a way to transport water from one place with bamboo to another place that may have fires and make a solution. So I love you, and I'm praying for everybody who's dealing with water while we're dealing with cold, and we're happy we're dealing with cold because around this time, because of terraforma, we'd be dealing with fire. So I
Yeah.
love you,
I'll
family. Love you.
I'll be dealing with the cold soon because I'm heading up your way soon, so I'll be in the cold soon. Yeah.
Whoa,
I'm
whoa,
heading up to the States, so I have to put out my winter clothes. Oh my gosh. Ooh,
wow.
maybe
You
I'll
know,
be joining you soon. I live in the United States. I live in the snow for some time, and I want to go back in the snow, but
you
hey,
know,
I have
you know
to. I
what
don't
I
have a
will,
choice.
you know what I will advise all of you that are experiencing cold, water, and what
Come
have
to
Yeah.
you.
Africa.
This is why Africa is there for you. Book your
Yes.
next flight. Come over to Africa. Come and experience
Nature.
a continent where God created for his resting place. He rests here.
Yeah.
It's only when God only comes to that side where you are on a visit. And
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good one, Secho. That's a good one.
so, and
Oh
I'm sure,
goodness.
okay, without wasting time, let's listen to Prof.
Can I
Our
say,
professor.
Prof, forgive me. Can I say it's biblical? And maybe Prof can help me confirm that. The land of Nod, according to the Apocrypha, where Cain went, his family, They went on the other side of Africa. It was cold. It was up in the mountains and stuff like that. So the land of Nod is where you fall asleep. You know what I'm saying? And in these colds, you cannot fall asleep in the cold. That's death right there. Like that is death, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I let Professor. I let
Now,
Professor.
Prof, this question is for you. I was driving at something and I was waiting for you to come in before I will ask this question. I started by saying that most of the time African leaders are they are good talkers. Or they will just come on stage. In short, there was a period we have a president that whenever he wants to communicate anything, he travels out of the country to go and communicate the rest of the world and refuse to speak with us. That's one of the most outstanding president Nigeria ever had. It took the country 10 years back. No, what's 10 years? Like 20, no, like 40 years backward. Now, what we have on ground now, Kigame has spoken. He's throwing open his border for Africans to come in. William Ruto has also spoken. But my question to Kigame is that, and my question to Prof is this, that do you think a country like Rwanda would have planned very well for the good, the bad, and the ugly that comes with throwing your borders open? One, I just explained that economically is going to be booming because Africans that will be trooping down to Rwanda, they are going to increase the demand. There will be pressure on their basic necessities of life and the likes. Now, where my question is this: do they have enough provision to cater for such influx? Second, as the good people from Nigeria, from Ghana, from different parts of the country are entering into the place now because of
This
the
good country.
free visa, the bad guys also, are they prepared for having the monitoring system to checkmate the bad guys? Because you discover that what has kept this place that we travel to, what has kept Dubai till date is that before they started inviting the rest of the world to come and see Dubai, they have put in place all necessary machineries to ensure that law and order and standard of quality is still being maintained while the rest of the world continue to flow in there year by year. So what would be your take on that? Do you think Rwanda is prepared for this level of invitation? Thirdly, I want to believe that is the invitation is just for Africans to move in, to come and see what to come and see, yes, tourism and the likes. I don't want to believe that they are saying they are coming there, because if you are saying it's visa free and it's not controlled, before you know it, from tourism it ends with totori. Totori in the sense that some people have this mindset whenever they get to a country, a good place, they just want to impregnate the children there and start claiming what's it called, nationality, and before you know it, they carry their bad character from their place that is not yet developed and desecrate that place. So Prof, what would be your advice to Paul Kagame with respect to making Rwanda not to lose shape, not to lose value with the influx of numerous people? Because with this borders being opened up, the good, the bad, the ugly might also be flocking in there. And considering the fact that there is already a kind of war around Rwanda and neighboring countries, so that they will not use this opportunity to enter into destabilize Rwanda. Okay.
Yes, that's a very good question, and these are things we have to consider, because as you mentioned here, the last thing you said was the unstable atmosphere surrounding Rwanda and neighboring countries, especially Sudan and other countries will have, a lot of conflict right now. One of the best things you should have, I don't know if you have done it, but Kigane So he should have maybe gone into a place like Dubai and get ideas and see how the infrastructure is set up so that they would be able to do the same thing in Rwanda. We have examples of that. For example, right now in some parts of Africa where the Chinese are coming in with their males only. So what's happening now is that they're going to impregnate female African women. And they need to pass laws that they're restricting certain leadership positions only to indigenous Africans. You see what I'm saying? For certain leadership positions to maintain the African culture and the African control. But you're saying what you're saying is correct. We need to any countries that open. I mean, Marcus Garvey spoke of this, of getting African people to interact with one another. It's a good thing, but we have to, as you're saying, be concerned and restrictive in certain areas that we can accommodate the large influx that's going to come in. That's very important. It's very good. I mean, Rastafari has pushed for this for decades. For us to return to Africa, but we have to have a situation in setting in a purpose that you will be able to, what you say, accommodate, control the large influx and control the law and order. This is very important because you're gonna have all kinds of people coming in for all kinds of reasons.
And it's good that you said that, Professor, because we don't want a Ronnie part 2 situation where we're dealing with that and we're still trying to iron that out. Because what His Majesty, envisioned the first set of people, and then what we're dealing with Shashamani now. Not that it's against what's happening, but that's going through its own. You know what I'm saying? The right type of people, the people who are here to help the progression, not the digression. And you have to be part of the solution. But especially with the Chinese situation, Africa has to be so careful with that, because there's documentaries like even in Ethiopia, their little factories all militarized and everything. We gotta, unfortunately, Chinese people think we're still dumb. They're still falling for the European or colonialized caricature of us. And as Africans globally, they've done some crazy things in our islands, Jamaica, Haiti. And we, as Caribbeans, we're saying, y'all have to really make sure to lock and center and maybe wait a couple of generations before somebody can take in positions of power that will sell out our people to foreign entities in one generation. Thank you, Professor.
Okay.
Right. We
Now
need
my
we need to encourage incoming people from the diaspora to also invest in Africa, not just come as a tourist alone, but you want to
Okay,
emphasize.
there it is.
That's
There
all
it is. That's the linchpin. And why is that not happening?
Well, again,
okay.
the African leaders need to push for that. They have to, you see, of course, we were saying earlier about the division, the Berlin Conference, and all these things. Those things divided Africa and split up for the benefit of Europeans. Now we have to come with a solution to heal Africa. You see, Rwanda is one of the countries, this is very serious, in Central Africa or in Africa, that has one of the most vaccinated people in Africa. They also have the most AIDS in Africa, like Uganda, Malawi, a lot of these countries. So these are things you have to look for. As a matter of fact, there's a French scientist that was saying that it's a high possibility that the massacre that took place in Rwanda was caused through inoculation. So you have to be careful with these situations also. You see, after, like you mentioned, with the prince coming there, the first thing the prince should have been, or the king should say, the king, not the prince, the king of England, he should have been offering reparatory justice to Kenya or any part of Africa where Britain was ruling. That should be the first thing.
Is
So
that
he's not offering that.
but is that an admittance of guilt?
Okay, hold on, please. Prof, you are already going into one aspect, the second aspect of this live stream, in which we are talking about what is King Charles looking for in Kenya.
Oh yes.
Can you brief us what is looking for in Kenya? But before you brief us, let's listen to this. We already know that majority of this visit doesn't just come as a result of
Sincere love.
sincerity of love, but they overlove our resources to an extent that they just can't stay away from us when they
Yeah.
cite our resources.
Yeah.
So
Piggy
now,
bank. Piggy bank.
now that Prince Charles, a whole King Charles, it was Prince before, a whole King Charles is deciding to come to Kenya. The question is, what is he looking for? What have you been able to get? What information have you been able to get with respect to his visit? What's it all about?
I haven't done any research on it so far, but knowing the nature of European Gentiles, they're always in an opportunistic mindset. First of all, remember Kenya was under the occupation of what they call the White Highlands, similar to South
Mm.
Africa, an apartheid system, and they did a lot of damage and murders and rapes and so forth to Kikuyu people. So, by the mere fact that the African leaders who went to his mother's funeral, they were put on buses like little boys. They were not afforded the other leadership in the limousines and those expensive vehicles to travel around Britain. So I'm saying, by the mere fact he was there and he did not give that kind of what you call accommodation to the African leaders, it's showing he still has that colonial mindset. So what they do, like Walter Roney wrote the book How Europe Underdeveloped Africa. They still have that mindset of underdevelopment Africa, seeing what they can get out of Africa rather than what they contribute to the betterment of Africa.
Yes, that's exactly right. And in fact,
Okay.
what they did with technology is they did a jump. Like when I was growing up in America, you had a phone line, and it would connect to the wall. Well, in Africa, you didn't get phone lines right into your home, right? But now there's phones everywhere. You see, this is a technological employment. These people actually think about this stuff 20, 30 years ahead of time. And I know Deo wants to say something, but I'm go ahead, Deo.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah,
Now
that's
let's look at what
about that
Ken
later.
Ken Pasty says. He says, "Hello from UK." This, I believe, this is someone from UK. He said, "Hello from UK. We are ashamed to have this man as our king. So sorry. I wouldn't know which angle. Pasty, I would love you to elaborate on the reason why you are ashamed of this person coming to Africa. But what I can say is that several, just like what Prof just mentioned now, when the so-called African rulers traveled there for the king's inauguration and the likes, we all saw the picture of how they were paraded like scout boys there, jam-packed into something that looks like Danfo.
Mm.
Here in Nigeria, we call it dampo. They were just arranged into like buses, like just it was not the way other continent leaders were, attended to, dignified with limo, carriage, and the likes. But now, I would have expected a continent that would be more reactive to the sense that, okay, if we are treated that way, I want to believe that if I'm the one in position, hmm, and I'm treated that way, I'll make sure that when you or your group of people come to Africa, I'll arrange some level of donkeys for you. And I'm sure it's not going to be a kingly donkey, just normal donkey. I would like you to ride on donkeys while I am in my limousine so that you can have a rethink of mutatis mutandis. Because now I'm even seeing some video is coming, and I'm seeing some people, they were gathering as if it's a messiah that has just arrived. Everybody wants to have an handshake. But there was also some video. There was also a particular video where I wouldn't know, maybe it was an honest mistake or so, but there was a video where a black guy tried to, shake one of these big top people. I don't want to be specific now. And he just removed his hand. He greeted the other white guys around, but the African man on ground there stylishly did not shake hands with him. But now we have a whole King Charles here in Africa shaking hands, because I saw out the video, or shaking hands with the people, shaking hands with some youths. Whenever I see that, I know that
Smells
our
sense strong.
resources are not safe. Our resources are not safe. Because if you do not shake me over there, you should not come and shake me here, because
Shook me.
the way you shukudi,
Chukwudi one body. And
so
please
now,
Chukwudi.
now let's look at this. Jim Barak is
Mm.
mistaken about telecommunications in Africa. We had a house dial phone at home in the late 1960s.
Yes.
I wanted to
Chukwudi.
say this before I revert on that. So Chukudi, I hope Chukudi is still here. Whoa, okay, Chukudi, I want to come back. I wouldn't blame
Blame
Chukudi
him.
and some people. It's because of the way Africans have been painted across the globe. Some even think that we use Maggi to brush our teeth. Some think that
No, they don't think we have seasoning. They're saying
some
Maggie.
now
Man, I
some
think
even
it's like
maybe
man,
when we are
some-
sleeping,
On
some
trees.
even think that maybe when we are sleeping, we sleep like parrot on the tree. We put our leg up and our head down in Africa. And whenever they remember Africa, they say, "Oh,
That jungle.
the jungle."
Africa, the jungle.
You people are so privileged here in the UK, and in Africa, they sleep with mosquitoes. For your information, Africa is where all the resources, majority of the resources that are being used to develop the so-called places that you are staying in, is Africa. They got it from. And one of these days, I'm going to show you some beautiful place in Africa, and it will wow you. Okay, let's go over to this. So, Chukudi, we have
As at
as at
1960.
1960, we have all those, even prior to that, we have all those land phones and the likes, but it's just that it's not everywhere. It's some rich, highly rich people that have all this. So we do have that. Telecommunications.
What I have to say, can I say something to Chakudi?
Okay.
I thank the Most High. I had to get a drink. I was so upset, like, the telephones. I thank the Most High for the cell phones, because do you know how many Haitian families have gone into bankruptcy for the phone calls, for the bankrupt phone calls? Like, it was cheaper to call France than to call Haiti. And then worst ever, it was much cheaper to call the Dominican Republic, which is on the same island. It was so obvious and so mind-blowing. Even when they started selling phone cards, which Haitians, we thought, oh my God, thank God we have phone cards, because the Ma Bell and the communication people made so much money from us. It was probably cheaper for us. Literally, I'm going to tell you, it was probably cheaper, because sometimes you look at the rates, even on the phone cards. Literally, it would probably be cheaper for us to call Africa than to call Haiti, and we're right across the way. Okay, so that whole communication shenanigans, all that, we thank God for we thank God for WhatsApp and the cell phone, and thank goodness that's where they get all the material from. That's why they had to give African cell phones, because we getting all the rocks from there anyway. So now we did them in. Anyway, I'm gonna cut on there. So thank you for having me.
Let's look at from Madam Alami. Says telecommunications actually started in 1886 in Nigeria because of the need of the colonial stealers to connect with their other colonial thieves in Ghana, Sierra Leone, Gambia, and England. So there was already telecommunications established here. And by 1893, colonial offices in Lagos, Jeba, and Ilorin were provided with telephone services. So we have all these things here. It's just that
You're restricted to the
that
very, very highly rich
because
class.
of money, the
Yes.
money that was involved, and because by then they started impoverishing the
masses.
masses and like, so they couldn't afford it. And stylishly, they love it that way because information dissemination was not easy to go across broad.
Yes.
But now we know that if you are messing up with an African in any part of the world, somebody can just bring out a cell phone,
Yes.
video it, and show us what you are actually doing. So you couldn't do that and come to pretend to us that you are a good one, because that was what a country like France has been doing until now. We have access to information technology that is showing the true nature of France, to the extent that even Niger could tell France that pack your load and left.
Go.
And you know what?
Take your
Now,
litter and go. Take your litter and your litter, the litter, like a cat litter of crap and go. And that's for everybody. That's for all the West. France is just getting to kick the booty first.
yeah. Now, Stacey
One of
Pruitt.
the reasons why they was sorry. One
Okay.
of the reasons why they got rid of Gaddafi, also Colonel Gaddafi, he wanted to get away from having to go through the communication system in Europe, and Africa have their own communication system with the Caribbean and the West. That's one of the main reasons they got rid of him and destroyed what he was trying to do. It's a very serious situation here, and the same sister is saying about Haiti also. They are really causing a disruption with the Haitian situation, making it hard because, as again, with all resources that Haiti has, that's one of the main reasons they're keeping the place destabilized. It's very sad. But a lot of people don't look down on that country, that nation, because of its impoverishment situation, not knowing has been caused by the colonial powers. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. One of the things the African leaders should have done, and that's they say it's something called a Stockholm syndrome. And that is very serious. It means it's a psychological phenomenon in which hostages express empathy and have positive feelings toward their captors, sometimes to the point of defending them. And what should have happened with these, even at the funeral of the queen or the crowning of the king, the African leaders should have not gone. They should have protested and said, look, we're not going to go because you have not given us reparation. You have not given us reparatory justice. So that's our form of showing our displeasure with the way Britain has dealt with all of Africa. That should have been the number one thing you should have done. But because of the Stockholm syndrome, the Massa we sick mentality is why they went there embarrassed.
So painful, so true. And I hope one of these days we actually get rid of this syndrome, because
Thank you,
it's
Prof. Thank you.
really killing our image out there. It's making a lot of people that are far below us to even think they are much higher than us. And that is where the cookie crumbles, because just like some few weeks back, we looked at what happened in Israel, the almighty Israel, and all of a sudden, not even a country, Hamas infiltrated Israel, did a whole lot of stuff there, and you begin to wonder, who is working on our psyche here in Africa to continue to look down on ourselves, to continue to think that we can be walked on by tricksters? Because I see a lot of tricksters and mercenary going on. But I pray that we get out of this challenge, because whenever I see people like Prince Charles, Prince Charming, or King Charles coming to Africa to come and shake hands, it is more than ends. Resources are involved. So,
Yes,
African,
with forked tongue.
you
The,
said
the
was
Native
that?
Americans said the Native Americans call it speaking with a forked tongue, like a snake. He give
Mm-hmm.
you one hand, but in the, you got poison in your hand. They shake your hand, but they have what they call what do you call it again? No, that powder that gets
Mm,
you crazy. Can kill you. Anthrax,
mm,
anthrax. You see what I'm
mm,
saying? That's how they move. It's very serious. Another thing that happened also to show the Stockholm syndrome and a certain extent religious enslavement is when the Pope of Rome came recently to, I think it was the Congo. There was over 1 million Africans came to witness his service, or we call mass, in the Congo. And you see, this is the problem with African people in general, especially in Africa, though. Knowing who the enemy is. Marcus Garvey said one of the most important things of education is being able to identify your enemy. And the things that the Pope of Rome has done through the centuries and still continues to do, most Africans are not aware. We should not be a member of that church because they have,
mm,
first of all, number one, the pastors they call themselves priests, but according to the book of Timothy, First Timothy chapter 3, it says, "For a man to be a priest, he has to have a wife, one wife. They don't even have a girlfriend, so they're
mm,
violating the scripture first of all." You see what I'm saying? So this is very, very serious. And what I could speak because I was an altar boy. I was raised in a Catholic, going to Catholic school all my life, and I was an altar boy. And I can tell you, there's some serious rituals that go on in that church that actually hypnotize the people.
mm.
You see, so they have us under kind of stupendous kind of aura that it's hard for us to get away from it. You see,
And,
so that is another problem you have in Africa.
yes, and bro, what you're saying is they always have to have us under some kind of drug or pharmakia or something. If it's not, yes, thank you, Professor. It's like this. They bring in a vice, a poison or a death or a disease. Anyway, it's so real. That's what I think. That's where the prostitution comes in. When I'm saying prostitution, I'm talking about with our political leaders and
Right, right.
and you know what? Just like a pimp, what does a pimp do? He give her cocaine, he give her meth, he give her money, he give her fake stuff, and it's all an illusion. So I think the West has always been that pimp. That's what it is. And it's always some pharmakia, some medicine, some who did it. When I say who did it, I'm talking about World Health Organization crap. I'm talking about the whole gamut. They try to get in, again, pimp, prostitute scenario. He give her the phone, give her the communication, control who she talked to, cut her off from her family, and all that. And so these leaders have to really be like, if they're gonna do that, then a hoe is a hoe. Excuse my expression. Say you're a prostitute. Stop pretending to be a lady and then selling out the family and selling out the community. You know what I'm saying? And then it's up to us to see them and call them out. Because I can listen. That's the thing about our politicians. That's the thing about a certain person. I'm not trying to be raw and rough, but there's a certain thing with someone who's a prostitute and she's making money and she knows what's up, as opposed to someone who's a HO who just giving it up and selling it people out and then trying to act like you part of the family. But you coming in the household, stealing our jewelry, stealing our money, stealing our things, stealing my credit card, and going out and be like, oh, this is Johnny Babylon. Johnny Baby Long. This is my boyfriend, knowing dang well he ain't even your boyfriend. He ain't even your friend. He got a wife. He got kids. He ain't thinking about you. He just trying to break into your household, your family, your neighborhood, and give you some crack or some vapes or some opiate or some whatever it is that they're selling. Pharmaceuticals, because you're under depression now. Now the whole world is depressed because Babe Babylon is depressed. No,
Oh,
she's
yeah,
depressed
yeah.
because she's messed up, and we're depressed if we follow that crap. So anyway, Professor, thank you.
And that's where our emancipation from mental slavery, as written or sung by Bob Marley, the prophet preached it. But you know, when we are ready to get out of the blues, as stated by Madam Olaume here, when we're ready to get out of the blues, we need to delete all this mental slavery syndrome, the software
Africans have to be
that has been uploaded into us.
reorientated.
We need, yes, that's the word. We need
That's
proper
just it.
reorientation.
As in the way our education is false. We've been educated the wrong way. So we need reorientation. So and I think this is I think Cetrus Foundation is trying to do something to this effect. Not just the education itself right now, not just the formal education, but holistic education, Africanism education. So let's know who we are. You should know your worth. When you know your worth, when you know your value, then you'll be paid that value. You will be valued that way in the all over the world. But if you don't know your value, people are degrading you and they come to you, you're elevating them, you're doing them as if they are the all in all. No, you don't know your worth, you don't know who you are.
The funniest stuff is that some of these people that are coming to Africa and everybody's jumping around, I think one of the days, if one of the days, not if, one of the days that they are going to meet with me, they will actually know that they are meeting with a strange person, because I'm not going to be so excited about you. In short, I'll be asking myself the question that what is
the right questions.
what is
Okay, you're
what
highly
you
welcome.
are,
You be polite,
I'll
but
be polite,
you ask
but
the right questions. So
yes.
now that you're here, how can we help you?
Uh,
What do you need? How do you go
What,
about things?
what's the
What is the
summary? What's the
yes.
summary of this visit? What do we have to benefit from
Yes.
this visit? Those are,
You-
because for you to leave your kingdom,
Benefit. What are our
Your
mutual
it's right
mutual?
for you,
Yeah, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt, but hey, since Joke is interrupting, I'm going to. I'm just kidding. I love you, Joke. Your point is to. I'm kidding. I understand the passion. What are we at some mutual understanding, some relationship? So let's be real with it. At least a prostitute and a John, they have they understand what the mutual relationship is. Don't come to me pretending to be my boyfriend, which is actually happening right now in the US, where they call it lover boy Johns, where they pretend to be the girl's boyfriend and they're actually prepping her to Romeo. They call them Romeo pimps, where they pretend to be the boyfriend and then they slowly, and that could be happening in the Africa. I am sure of it because it's a Western thing. But yeah, that's what they're trying to be. Romeo pimps. The West is trying to be a Romeo pimp and not even give us a contract. Anyway, I digress. I pause for the cause. Thank you, love.
so like you're welcome. You'll be treated well with respect. But I will ask you some questions that will even from my questions, it will shape your mindset with whatever mindset you are bringing down to the
yes,
continent.
and you'll be conscious that some persons are watching,
they are watching you.
Your back.
You understand? But what you come in and I'm all there, I'm bowing down. Why should I bow down to this thing? I will give you the respect. You say, oh, so glad we have you here. You left your kingdom because you are a king. You left your kingdom into my own kingdom because this is our own kingdom. So why are we having this August visit? Can we know what is in it for my people, not me? Because that's what they do. They will say, we have something for you. No, not me. What do we, this visit, what is it going to, how is it going to benefit my people?
But do they have people? That's the challenge. Do those because they come to, do they think of their people? They are all.
That's why whenever I see the people that are coming to see, I'm like this. I'm like this. Like, what is going on here? So that at the end of the day, the visit doesn't turn out to be another cake divisor theory. Because before you know it now, I'm sure within the next few months, we'll be getting gist on what has actually transpired in Kenya, because Kenya is not even the biggest. Kenya is not the biggest. What's it called? Country in Africa. So there must be something that is interesting them, that is making them come over to Kenya. And before we start dancing, that Ruto has opened Kenya that's why I'm somehow silent about Ruto's saying Kenya is open to Africans to come in, because I really need to understand Ruto very well. I don't think I understand him very well. Yeah, Kenyans, you can talk to us about Ruto. Let's know the kind of president he is. But Kigame, I know Kigame. You know, Kigame is there. We know him. He's a warrior. He's a this. He has gone through oppression. He has gone through
Thick and thin.
thick and thin. You know, he's you call him a dictator. Don't worry, we love him, because majority of the
God
time
hope
the people,
somebody is watching his back
yeah,
for him.
yes,
That
somebody,
is just it.
some group of people, intelligent people
Feel
should be
it.
watching his
He
back
knows
for him.
it. He feels it. Kagami. We know it. He feel it.
You
Yeah,
share yourself.
Kagami.
But
Now,
we should also have
At this
dedicated
time,
people that are watching his back for him, so that he doesn't slip into poison, into mistake, into
especially
destruction
this way, they've
and other
opened
stuff.
their
Now that their border is they've opened their this thing, they should plan ahead. Not that, because I just mentioned a state in Nigeria is bigger than the population of their entire country. So if you are opening
and
your borders
Nigerians
down
are always looking for
for where to go,
as in
so
beautiful
now,
places. Oh, they just know that this
do
place is
you have the facility to host and maintain the standard? So I believe by now, I want to believe that before he made that statement, he has been preparing. Security wise, when you are having large influx of people, security wise, you should be tightened up and the likes.
security.
Then
So
what's it
important.
called, provisions to cater for the number of influx and the likes should be there, because I think I know that visa between African countries are not good, but what are the process that they will engage to monitor the people that are coming in and to ensure that they leave? You understand? To mention that they are coming in and they are leaving at the right time, because that we also have, because I see success in any African country as success to all of the African country, and that's what I want to believe. So, Professor, what will be your parting word with respect to Kigame's invite to Africans into their country, and your parting words on this our King Charming that is coming to Kenya? What will be your parting word on it, sir?
Well, first of all, we have to be aware what's happening here. I was trying to find some. I'm going to let the Empress, the wife, send it to you. There's something going on right now in Kenya concerning the changing from the dollar to some kind of different type of monetary system. They're trying to push it on the Kenyans right now. I couldn't find it, but I'm going to look for it and let us send it to you sometime tomorrow.
Okay.
Secondly, we have to also wait. There's also a vaccine that's being pushed on shots that are being inoculation that are being pushed on Africans right now. It's a malaria inoculation, and they say 1 in every 4 children would die if they take it. You will also get meningitis, and it's only a 30% protection from malaria if you take this inoculation. So there's an attack, like I said, what's happening here. We got to be very careful. Like I said, the best thing to ask him, number one, and the leadership is very weak if they don't ask him these questions. What is your purpose of your visit? And I said they should demand reparation, especially Kenya, where it had the Mau Mau struggle. I just saw, I forgot the name of the brother, was a great freedom fighter in Kenya who fought against the British, and he was killed by the British for fighting with the freedom of his country. So the first thing any African leader should tell King Charles is we need reparatory justice first before we can discuss anything. This has to be the stance of African leaders, as you're going to maintain that colonial massa type mentality. You see, they always have a trick up the sleeve. You see, so we have to be aware that they have not changed. And this, and let's close in here. We have to be aware that some call unholy trinity of the papacy, the monarchy, and the presidency. They all remember now. The papacy, Vatican, is in a city by itself, a country by itself. The same with the monarchy, and the same with Washington D.C. It's not a state.
And their priests
So
are
these are
ambassadors.
three.
They're just bishops. Those are
Pardon?
all ambassadors.
Say it again.
I said all their
Could
high
you repeat
people,
that, please?
the bishops and them are their ambassadors. They're ambassadors, aren't they?
That's correct. That's correct. This is very serious. We see we have to be able to identify who the beast power is on the planet. Who controls the monetary system, the religious system, the governmental system. The papacy controls the religious system, the ecclesiastical authority on the planet. Then you got the presidency. You got the beast, the prophet, and the false. The beast, the dragon, and the false prophet. We have to be able to identify these entities on the planet. And if you don't identify them, you're going to be a lamb to the slaughter. So anytime they come to your country, they have an ulterior motive. You see, you can't look at them as just regular people. You have to look at them as wolves in sheep's clothing. Like you said, when you eat with the devil, use a long handle.
Thank you so very much, Prof. That is the way you arrange your thoughts. That is the way you arrange your words. That is just very, very prophetic. Thank you so very much. Is straight to the point. Is very, very light shedding and likes, because when they come as wolves in sheep's clothing. And you just said a proverb that we often quote here, that when you are eating with the devil, you use a long spoon. And I hope that Kenya, in short, I am watching Kenya from back to back, because we need to be sure that they are not using Kenya as a front for a new kind of deal, introduction of a new deal to the African people. And I pray that whoever is in charge of Kenya and the people of Kenya are doing more than listening, but reasoning along their thinking. Because sometimes if you just listen and you don't reason along, you might listen and begin to lie to yourself that you have understood what has been communicated. Because what we need now is for these boundaries to go off Africa. We need all these demarcations to go off Africa. And aside that, we need Africans to love each other. Which brings me to this concluding part before Newbie Me concludes our part for the day. Now, Rwanda should better prepare their mind and reorient themselves so that when other African people comes into Rwanda, they don't get tricked into waking up the sleeping giant of killing other Africans in their country in the name of xenophobia. Because that has been what has been happening in South Africa. So they should have everything structured out so that their citizens are not feeling that influx of foreigners is causing them harm, is causing them loss of job, is causing them pain. They better reorient. Let me just say this openly. There is a kind of orientation that the people of what's the name of this place? UAE, that they've given to their people to preserve their culture, to the extent that it is stated that if any of their citizens, the Dubai citizen, if they marry anybody that is not from Dubai, they forfeit their inheritance.
And I have a friend that
Yes.
I have my own friend. The elder brother married a Dubai citizen girl. She forfeited all her inheritance.
So
they didn't give her anything.
so that Why they are doing that is to preserve their real culture. That was what Africans lost to these Westerners. So Rwanda, anybody from Rwanda, please see how you can package this live stream, send it to your people, send it to people in authority. You people should reorient yourself as uh, uh, as people come into your country. You people should be fully prepared, be good to fellow Africans, but have your
Policies.
limits. Have your
Policies.
limits. This is how we do. This is how we do, so that these foreigners does not come into the place and start impregnating your
Your
children
children and want to
and want
nationalize
to nationalize, and
against
at
your
the end of the day they are
resources.
coming with strange values that has not gotten their own country to where you people are now,
Yeah.
because it is in your beauty that you can now attract
Attract
them. So maintain that beauty. That's my concern. So with that being said,
Can I just say one more thing quickly? I
Very
okay,
just
well.
yes.
found the yeah. Just to close with this, I just found the thing I'm looking for. It's a head. The headline says churches tell Kenyan to accept the digital society. You're gonna have transaction with the iris of your eye and fingers. No more money transactions. I will let Claudia send it to you. This is very serious. What they're
Whoa,
trying to do
whoa.
in Kenya. So you got to watch all these things happening right now. Transaction with your iris of your eye and with your fingers. No more money transactions. So that's what they're trying to push right now in Kenya. And the churches are
Okay,
pushing it. The churches of all places are pushing it.
okay. Now
Okay,
I'm
Seth.
getting sure of revelations.
Yeah,
So
Thank
I'll
you,
to come.
Prof. Thank you for bringing that in because the warning that Setros was giving Rwanda totally overseeded like what I wanted to say. Like, whoa, because it's a deep warning. Rwanda Shema, Rwanda, listen, please, listen. Rwandan youth, listen. But also, Prof, thank you for saying that because I was going to say to Kenya, Kenya, please do not be the proxy police for the West. Please do not be sellouts for the West. And look, I didn't even know this, but that's what you're doing. You're going to be the guinea pigs of the West. Remember what happened to Ethiopia. Don't get caught up in this judgment, right, Prof? We already know what happened to the East. Don't get confused. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. And don't be on the right side of history because everything's closing in. Because at the end of the day, whatever happens in Haiti, whatever happens in Africa, whatever happens if you get your little iris taken care of and then you lose your eye and your whole soul for the whole thing under these wolf pastors, go back to the East, reorientate yourself because at the end of the day, guess what? The beast system is going to blame you. And you know who's going to blame you too? We are going to blame you. And who else is going to blame you? Jah is going to blame you. Yah is going to blame you. So we're Kenyan brothers and sisters, the young ones, please kill off in a metaphorical sense, kill off that mind of the beast, the ones that's attacking the old people or whoever, old or young. Don't fall for it. Look, the brother already showed you, and I didn't even know that was happening, but I'm like, yo, don't be don't be like in history like the Arabs were for the West when they sold off all of our West African and African people and East Africans too. My great grandmother being one of them, sold to off to the Caribbean. Don't do that because you know what? History is going to catch up with you, and everybody's watching right now. So don't be a disobedient child. Be a good child. Be a top child. Listen, we know that guy has lots of money and pimping and stuff like that, but it's a false. It's false. It's our money he's stealing. He's a con artist. So don't do that to us. The world is watching, and especially now when Israel and Palestine is burning. Yeah, again, if anybody did not catch the episode with Setros and the professor a couple weeks ago, I suggest you watch it again, send it. And then if anybody did not see Setros $1 billion idea for Africa, I say I suggest you should study it and all that other stuff. Take notes, people, because the Most High is not playing. And right now, and I'm big up, and this is my last statement, and this is for the professor and my sister Claudia. This is, His Majesty's coronation. We had celebrated, I think, the 93rd. Forgive me if I'm like bad with my numbers, but 100 years
No,
ago,
you're correct. Correct. 93rd. Correct.
Yeah, His Majesty already set this, and if people don't even realize that, oh, they're off the clock. You know how some people are like, I'm gonna set my clock 7 minutes ahead. That would be me, but then I'm always 17 minutes late. But when my clock is still 7 minutes ahead, it doesn't work. That's the West. They had their warning at World War II. This so-called World War III that could be coming, could not be coming. Rumors and rumors of war and war, whatever, whatever. Um, Africa, don't get caught up in this because that is Zion and that's their judgment. That's their judgment. They're catching judgment. Everybody's catching judgment. And then the Most High is going to judge. And His Majesty talked to the UN. And this is what I'm upset about. People don't even understand. His Majesty helped write the charter for the UN. And how dare they? How dare they go against the king? But you know what, Kenya? Don't go against your king. You're East African and you're West African. You're the bridge. Don't mess it up. Don't mess it up for nobody because you're gonna mess yourself up. That's all I gotta say. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so
Good
very
night,
much.
everyone. Good night, New
Okay.
Baby.
I love you.
Good night, Sedcho.
Okay.
Love, love, love in the house.
Before we say good night, I have a video to show us. Last 2 weeks, we had a youth program. A friend of ours that is a friend of the Cetros family organized a program for youths across Nigeria to pray for Nigeria, gathered youth and the likes. And so I was there with my wife and some youths. We went to cover that event. This is that. Okay.
Wow.
Wow, that's
Wonderful.
man. Yes,
Wow.
wonderful. Wow.
Can I
So
tell you something? I watched the broadcast that you guys had. It was such an inspiring broadcast, but was so crazy. It was so quiet. It was so quiet. Everybody was listening in. I said, "Oh, what are there like 10 people over there? What's going on?" Was it a good event? Man, you know what? It was people, the kids were listening because in the West, you be hearing kids da 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 screaming, moving around, and so I thought, okay, is there like 10 people at the event and they're just focusing on the speaker because in Hollywood, in America, they do that. They make it seem like there's a whole bunch of people, one speaker, they have a soundtrack, and there's like 5 people in the back, and four of them are working. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, working on the illusion. But the youth were so quiet. I was like, hallelujah. I mean, I could hear myself say hallelujah in there. You know what I'm saying? But my goodness, I'm going to say, I would like to, Yahweh willing, I would like to send some of our game lamp youth to the next year one. I'm going to, if it is
whoa.
request, I'm going to send my youth, my daughter, and some game rampers from California. Um, next youth, because we need that. We need them. We need them to go pray, and our Western youth need to see what real prayer is. Not like, oh, thank you God, because I have, like the lady said, I have food, I have shelter. No, no silly prayers like that. God, please protect us, watch over us, be with us, help us, guide us, pray for our country, pray for our nation, pray for our continent, pray for everybody. I mean, I want to be there next year, but if
Wow.
I'm gonna send the youth.
You have to see the youth pray. We are still
See,
uploading some of
we,
God,
youth prayed with
I'm,
passion.
we are going to upload.
can't
I'm done.
wait
I'm done with the editing. We are going to upload
They have a
them
channel.
in several
They
this
have their
thing. I'm
channel.
still going to upload here because
because
see,
we need that
we,
prayer. We need that prayer.
we had about 1,500 youths in attendance.
Fifteen
Where
hundred.
we where we used was a mini stadium.
Stadium, yes.
Wow. Hey,
We
you
used
know what? I love.
look at them
Look at
from
that. You
different
know what?
schools,
Disciplined.
Yeah.
from
So
different,
My
well
God.
disciplined.
yeah.
Yeah. So well
You know
Well,
disciplined. Yeah.
so wonderful.
Wow. This is
coming from
mind
their
blowing.
bosses.
No. This is
So wonderful.
wow.
So we had security personnel and the likes to be.
And we had people,
Look
great
at
people
Zion
came there to minister to
Kingdom.
them. They
Look
taught
at
them
Zion.
on
Sorry.
So it wasn't just about prayer.
prayer.
Apart from prayer, we had achievers, industry leaders
Yes,
coming to talk
captains
to
of
the captain of
industries.
industry, talk to them about technology. And this,
Yes.
as they were entering, they were being given handed some food packs, some
And at the end, they were
flags.
also
Then
given food.
at the end, they were all fed.
You know what I love about this? And again, it's look at Zion building. What I
That,
love about the uniforms, because when I was growing up in Haiti, oh, did we have our uniforms, man?
yeah,
Oh, did
that
we have the
from
uniforms?
different
Yeah.
schools.
And our
From
ribbons, huh, Sister Claudia? Our ribbons and our bolitos up in the Caribbean.
Yeah. I
You knew
remember in
what
high
every
school
school
I
you
had
go
my
to.
this
yeah,
point
my
here,
pleated skirt and yeah, my tie. Oh man, yes. That's how it is in the Caribbean. We wear pleated skirt, ties, bows. I mean,
Long
it's
socks.
it's
It's giving me
yeah,
happiness.
long
You know?
socks. Oh God, you remember those days? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
the
it's
bolitos.
such a
this point,
connection.
The bolitos and the ribbons. Okay, mommy, you overdoing it. I have bolitos and ribbons in my hair and barrettes. Come on, mommy. On the end. Come on,
Yeah,
mommy.
ribbons. Oh my gosh. Yes,
um,
the Caribbean style ribbons. I mean, it was those good old days. Yes,
And they're
but
I'm
this
coming
is a
back. Look at
connection. This
Zion.
is a beautiful
Look at
I'm going
sorry,
connection.
to
Mary
upload.
girls, but look at Zion. We are so excited to see the youth. We are so excited here in the West because our youth
Mhm.
are so not disciplined. I'm not, that's why please lock it down in Africa. Make sure that we don't come in with our mental illnesses. You have to be that strict uncle, grandfather, uncle. Nope,
Yeah.
not here,
No.
not here. But don't be xenophobic. Let's be
Mhm.
inclusive, but not exclusive. The only thing that we exclude is duppiness and all that Babylonianness,
Mhm.
that thing. Yes or
Um,
no, Professor and Cloudy?
yes, yes.
At this point here, they were dancing. I'm going to upload a video of their dance part. I separated that one. They were so happy
To be
to be
there.
there.
And
My
their
goodness.
proprietors were there. They when they got back to school, they said it was like they should continue all day, that they want to see it again. Okay, that's the
Let me show
organizer.
you the major
Organizer.
uh, organizer,
The convener
the
of the
convener of the
program.
program. This is the
This is the
convener
convener.
of the
This
program.
a senior level
You
manager in the
in the bank.
bank
You know, we invited. If you've been watching our episode, we invited him to our live stream. He came
last year.
physically to our stream last year. His name is Festus.
People
So
that
he's
so
been
then this
so
other
so
person.
passionate about this, and from next year's on is going to be bigger. It's going to be bigger. And
This is an
okay,
industry leader too.
let me explain some of these people to us before we leave. Okay. uh okay, wow, this particular this particular person is a technology driven person. He has a big company. They are into tech, financial tech, and likes. You need to listen. I will upload
So a
his
session.
talk, his session. I will upload it here. It was so full of light, full of information, and he was so glad that he promised that next year he's going to make sure that he's around. This is an international person. uh a lot is happening in his company and the likes. By
He
name
also has a
Tokwe Dare.
foundation.
He also has a foundation in which he built how many 200 seaters
100
bed
space
space
hostel,
hostel,
solar powered
solar powered
hostel
for his
for his
school.
alma mater. Yes.
So
Whoa, can he come to Mexicali? Can he come to Calexico? Can he come? Because no, we need some housing for our Haitian people.
so
No,
okay,
husband,
this
he's over
lady,
here. We need him.
this lady, there is a lady I need to show us. Okay, let me just. Okay, this. Oh, why is it so fast? There is a woman there.
Mm. Uh-huh.
Okay, this woman is one of the top. Is a management. What's it called? Top staff in is a big person in Nigerian banks and the
Banking
likes,
sector.
banking sector. She was down to earth. She did a whole
Awards
lot
for the
there,
youth.
and she even gave cash
Awards.
prizes
Cash awards.
to students that participated and answered questions and the likes. She was full of.
Madam, my address is the 123. Send money to me, California.
And we have a female DPO, divisional police head, was there. She spent long time there at the program. She was impressed too. So they provided us with
Seeing-
security and the
Yes.
likes. And when they saw the coordination, they were so impressed and happy. Then we have some of the prayer, the women and men and the likes. These are proprietors of
Big
big schools. These are, invited
prophets,
pastors and the likes, choirs, and it was just
All this stuff.
we had different security stuffs and the planners, and it was just so
Perfect
impressive.
and professional. And here's the thing. I'm gonna say this. I just was in a committee meeting with a woman. We're doing things in the community, and she's a woman of Latin descent, but she kept saying things as if we were not able. We're a large Black organization. You know what I'm saying? With other people involved. And she was like, "Oh, I just wanted to," and I'm like, "No, that's the colonizer speaking, sister. We love you, sister Maria. But that language is so patronizing, and that's saying that we can't do it. And this right here, y'all can do it. That's why Nigerians do it." And I wanted to say, can I know y'all have connections with the Most High and other people. Can we make an addendum in the African Union and say, instead of Kenya going to Haiti, can we at least have Nigerians go to Haiti? Can we put an addendum in the African, whoever we got to write to? Is there somebody we write to in the African Union, or say no? We're not really feeling Kenya right now because Kenya's having psychological problems. It's like having a person who has bipolar You don't want them to have the money. You don't want them to have grandmama's bank account. No, no, no. Can we who? See, this is my beautiful husband. I'm gonna say hello to my husband who said,
Hey, Alonso.
I'm gonna hook you up because you can't just look like floating glasses and teeth and a yellow hat.
Alonso is another prof. It's another prof.
Hey, Professor.
Another prof.
Mama
He
Claudia,
talks.
Professor, this is your little brother. Alonso, I want him to say
Yes.
something. I want you to know, brother Alonso, and big up to the Dark Foundation, but big up to His Majesty's Coronation and his children. We are, again, we unlike the churches, we ain't fooling you. This is a real kingdom. No matter what you call it, Rastafari, African community, His Majesty has already set this up for us so many years ago. We cannot forget it because the Mandela effect will make one thing Kenya came up with this or other people came up with this. No, remember it was Ethiopia and Nigeria. So we got to follow the same. What is it burning now? Like now I look like, bipolar. Now I look as bipolar as Kenya right now. I'm just kidding. No, he's helping
Well,
me.
my son just sent me
Say hi,
a post there saying that the top country to visit in the world is Kenya. Nairobi, Kenya. They said top world cities to visit in 2024. Nairobi has been crowned as the world's best city to visit in 2024. Now I want to interject this last thing here. There's a confusion here. Why would the Biden administration want to send Kenyans to Haiti? That's confusion. Kenyans don't speak French. You see the foolishness? You're supposed to check Sierra Leone, Senegal, any French-speaking country should be the ones to go with a military force because they can communicate with the people. So by sending Kenyans, you're creating confusion because they don't speak French. That's the same problem with the European Gentiles. They always if Kenyans bow to that, that's foolishness. They should be wide and say, enough to look. We do not speak French. We recommend an African country that speaks French that can come to your country.
You know, they thrive in causing problem for us. Then they appear as the savior to rescue us from the problem that they introduce. So we are not going to fall prey. We are not going to fall prey to that. We are awoke. The whole of Africa is awoke. We cannot be deceived. You cannot create a problem and still be telling us that you are the one creating the solution. Already, we can learn from big uncle. Uncle, you know the uncle I'm talking about? Uncle that owns Microsoft. What's that his name again? So, he created the virus. He created the virus and he introduced the antivirus. We are not going to.
Yeah, we know who it is. Call no name, bear no blame.
Let's call him Dennis the Menace.
Let's call him Dennis the Menace.
So we are not going to fall prey for all that cheap blackmail. But let us work together. Let us believe in ourselves. Like the what's it called? Whatever result we need to get, we can always stay together to achieve it. And on this final note, that's why closing this live stream today, I want to thank everyone for your support and help all the while. You can see that we didn't even disturb anybody with respect to the foundation all the while. But let's just remind ourselves that December we usually give out. We usually make provisions. I'm just saying this.
Just leave it.
Just read this.
Read it
Read
and smile.
what you have on the screen and smile. This is wonderful. Billy the goat. My Igbo people say goat.
Ewu Cambodia.
Exactly. The goat.
So,
And correction, that is not blackmail. That is not blackmail. Only white men do that. That is not blackmail what they're doing. No black men do that. I'm sorry. I just wanted to correct.
So end of this year, we are planning towards providing foodstuffs and live chicken to feed the less privileged. The date is going to be announced.
It's still 20.
We are going to announce the date and the time. So if anybody sees any opportunity to support the foundation so that we can feed large numbers of people, please do so by
When
going to
when is that,
our
Mr. Secho? When is that plan? When is that
we are
plan? In December?
Yes.
December. Yes, please.
Yes, ma'am.
December. We want to go
Okay.
feed the less privileged, feed the poor, give them live chicken, give them some foodstuffs. Then we're also considering the possibility of creating time out to prepare food, as in cook food, and give today. We are looking at 2 days now, 2 different days. We are looking at maybe at the because what is going on in Nigeria now, let me just be honest with you. What is going on in Nigeria now? Inflation is killing people. um, People are
Hmm.
not seeing food to eat. On at the bus stop, you see 10 people can walk up to you before you board your bus, begging for food to eat. So
That's
if
good.
we
Yeah.
if we can be able
Why is
to
it posted
if we
here?
can be able to get some little
Why is it
funds,
posted?
I can go to the farmers to go and get food stuff at cheaper rates. Then we'll prepare the food and dish out to people in the less privileged community. We can do that.
Yeah.
Then the second one will be in December, where we are going to give live chicken and food stuff for them to go and cook for their family. But the first one we want to achieve is to cook food for people, because people are going through a whole lot. Some cannot even afford transportation. Some are trekking to offices and the like. So as a foundation, we just want to come at this point that they need help, to be the shoulder they can rely on. So what we intend doing for the first kind of food, what we intend doing, and I intend doing this with my daughter, what I intend doing this with my daughter, chips. Want to prepare chips. Want to prepare chips and sauce, chips and sauce for them
Mm.
to be fed with. I think that one is easy. It won't cost much. So and we can feed a
And when is
whole.
that, Mr. Secho? In December? Is that taking
We
place in December?
Both of them should take place in December. We want to use November to plan. So the first one that we want to feed them with cooked food, that one will be early part, maybe first week of December. Then the
Mm-hmm.
one whereby we give them raw foods and live chicken, that one will take place towards the end of December. Those are the 2 dates that want to do
Okay.
that, because people are going through a whole lot. So
Yeah.
anyone that is
Yeah.
interested, kindly go through our GoFundMe to support the Cetros Foundation so that we can have a lasting impact in the life of these people that are going through a whole lot. So,
Yeah.
on that note, I want to say thank you so very much, everyone. We appreciate you. We love you. We thank all those that are believing in Africa, all those that are trusting that Africa is getting to Eldorado. And as you can see, my African queen, all those that believe, all those, all those that, all those that
Stop now.
Okay, okay, Secho. Bye. Bye
bye
bye.
bye.
How you guys have all the babies? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Give us a break.
Okay, bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.